Father Fish and the Natural Aquarium.
Well, I love my little fish as they swim through their home, drifting through the water where the gentle currents roam. When the sunlight finds them, all their colors start to shine, painting little rainbows in this peaceful aquarium of mine. Oh, my heart goes floating as they wander to and from, through the plants and shadows where the sparkling waters flow. In their tiny world, I find a gentle kind of love, a little piece of heaven shining softly from above. I am happy just to sit and watch my little fish swim as the evening settles and the fading sunlight dim. My heart is full of wonder, peaceful as can be, in their gentle underwater world that's home to them and me.
Well, howdy-ho, y'all. Here we are with the Natural Aquarium. This is the breakthrough in the hobby. This book tells a story that far too many are now forced to learn about, to understand, to accept, and to begin to live in terms of. They said it couldn't be done. They said we were fools on a fool's errand. But this is what the hobby is all about. It's not about setting up a little piece of plastic with shiny trinkets and lots of chemicals and expensive little devices. That's not what it is. It's about keeping animals alive, where they can thrive, where they can be happy, where they can live a healthy life, where they can breathe, where we can watch them and watch nature as it thrives in our little glass box. That's what the hobby is. That's what it is. That's what it has always been. And these foolish notions that it somehow is a decoration, that it somehow can be purchased with money, that's the true fool's errand. And that's what this book dispels absolutely, conclusively, and finally, because it tells the story of what happens when you bring nature, the laws, the rules, the stuff of nature into your aquarium. It's now available. You can get it at Barnes & Noble. You can get it on Amazon. You can even get a signed copy by going to Father Fish store and purchasing it there. Every one of the authors, all 5 of them, plus Father Fish, will send you a signed copy, signed by every single one of them from halfway around the world. And you will have the foundation of true aquarium keeping. Well, it's a hard pill for some to swallow. Let's see, we need to find where we are here. Here we are. Christian is here. Hello, Christian. On Amazon. Done. Hopping over to check it out now. There you are. Be sure to leave a comment. Whether you love it or hate it, leave a comment. Let's see what else is going on here. Neil, yes, you're first. Absolutely. First in. Allison. Hello, Allison. Hello, Adam. Adam has posted a group of videos halfway around the world, all over the country, all about what we're doing. And we're so proud and so excited and just really thrilled that we've been able to reach the kind of audience that Adam has now put us in touch with. You're going to see some major changes here. We've been kind of on a hiatus for almost a year now. We sort of ran out of gas with YouTube. YouTube changed. We did everything we knew to do, and it simply, frankly, wasn't working anymore. So we've been rebuilding, restructuring, reorganizing. And now that the book is out, you're going to begin to see where we're headed. And it's a very, very different kind of place. One you may be surprised about. But our goal, you see, is to reach the brand new fish keeper. That person who has a vision, has a dream, who has an idea, an inspiration of what they would like to be able to do. We want to give them the tools to be able to do it right, so they will not fail, so they will not end up with dead fish in their tank week after week and month after month. We're going to give them absolute success from day one. That's precisely what we've learned to do to be successful. With absolutely no knowledge, absolutely no experience, absolutely no ability other than to follow directions, to be patient, and to observe. And if you can do that, you can keep any fish there is. Any fish. Doesn't really matter. None of them are more complicated than any other. Fish are among the hardiest animals on earth. They live in such an amazing variety of environments, and they adapt from one environment to another. Now, you can't take a fish out of salt water and put it in fresh water, or out of fresh water and put it in salt water, at least not in the same day. Some of them adapt. There are plenty of them that go way up into fresh water to spawn, and their babies are born there, and then they swim down to the ocean. When they go back, very often it's a one-way trip, but not always. The salmon go back a one-way trip, but I tell you who doesn't? The little flounder, the little hog choker flounder. Every spring they go way up into the creeks from the Gulf of America. They go way up into the creeks and they lay their eggs and their babies hatch. And over a period of months, many months, they work their way back down, all the way down into brackish water, and some even all the way out into the Gulf, into saltwater. And they make that journey every year, back and forth. There are other fish that do it as well. Fish that travel long distances just to spawn. I'll tell you another one that does, and it's probably the most remarkable of all, is the eel. Oh my word. What a journey. What an amazing journey. Except they go kind of the opposite direction. When they're born, way out in the Atlantic, in the Sargasso Sea, which is way off Florida. It's hundreds of miles off of Florida. It's a vast area of nothing but floating plants, deep, thick floating plants. And two species of eel breed in there. One species are the American eel, and the other species are the European eel. You know what the difference is between the European eel and the American eel is? Well, the European eel is from Europe, and the American eel is from, oh, that's right, America. That's the difference. Those eggs are hatched, the babies are born, and they begin swimming back to where their parents grew up, way up into the rivers, up into the creeks. By the time they get, golly, by the time they get to brackish water, they're maybe on the way up. They're about the size, oh, I don't know, not as big as a pencil, even a short, stubby one. But they keep going and they keep moving up. And they go way up and way up into little tiny creeks, streams even. And they begin to they're feeding as they go up and they're growing. And they feed up there and they grow more. And then they begin to work their way back down. By the time they get back to brackish water, where they've already been when they were little, they're a whole lot bigger. Not as big as they'll get. They keep going down. I used to catch them when I was a child on Cox Neck Creek in the Chesapeake Bay. You can still get them there. I got some little tiny ones. They were on their way up, not on their way back. They were on their way up. I got some from down in Crisfield on a big grass flat. That's near Virginia on the eastern shore. They were about that big, about 3 inches, on their way north, working their way up, getting into the rivers and up the rivers into fresh water, going up as far as they can go. In a year or so, maybe 2 or 3 years, they'll be back in that same place they were as babies, as like 2-3 inch fish, on their way back to the Sargasso Sea. Same thing happens in Europe, exactly the same thing. What an amazing journey. It's a one-way trip. They breed, they lay their eggs, they die. And their babies then make the trip halfway around the world. Nature is such an amazing, amazing adventure. And we share that adventure when we set up a natural aquarium. Not one filled with plastic and chemicals, a natural aquarium, one filled with living organisms, with the nutrients. Now there's something, nutrients. I was watching a video recently, KG Tropicals was interviewing Diana Wallstead. This a couple of years ago. And she was talking about putting topsoil, potting soil in your aquarium. And she said, she was asked, what about nutrients? She said, oh, well, the people who make the potting soil, they know what kind of fertilizer to put in there. They just put fertilizer in. Dear heart, that's not going to keep your plants alive. It's not going to keep the fish alive. That will deplete in a matter of months, and it'll be gone, and there won't be any nutrients left. Think about the mud in the bottom of a pond. If it's an old pond that has fish in it that have been living there, for 1,000 years or more, a creek is flowing through it or a spring flowing into it, feeding it, and it runs off, eventually finds its way into a stream and on down. Think about the mud in the bottom of that pond. After 100 years or so, that mud becomes thick and incredibly rich. If you take even a handful of it and put it in your tank, put it in a say a cup full, and dump it in a container of water, it'll foul. It'll foul almost instantly. It's so rich. There's so much organic material in there. That's what is feeding and nurturing the plants and the animal life in that pond. That's what you need. How many different minerals do you think plants need in order to be able to grow fully, thoroughly, richly, to be healthy, to be strong? How many? There are 100 different minerals in the periodic table that we've identified, 100. How many of them are necessary for plant growth? I'm going to tell you a little secret. Every single one of them. Every single one. We don't know which one is most important, and we don't know which one they can't live without. We do know that in some environments that don't have 100%, and probably that includes every environment, doesn't have 100%, there are plants that live there and other plants that don't. Because some plants like what's there and others don't. But it's a whole lot more than any fertilizer can put in. Fertilizer adds maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 minerals, a couple of compounds, some organic material, a little bit, not much. It's used up pretty quick. And most of it's not what the plant needs or wants anyway. And so the plant, it'll grow leaves, a lot of leaves, because it's getting what it needs to grow leaves, but it's not getting what it needs to grow roots or stems or flowers or fruit. It needs more. It needs what we're able to provide. And we provide it by including in the substrate that we set up in the tank as much variety as we possibly can manage to include. We have 17 minerals and no, it's up to 21 now. 21 minerals and compounds in our supplement. It represents, near as we can tell, 70 or 80 different actual items on the periodic table. 70 or 80 out of 100. It's hard to get to 100. We have uranium. We have uranium. Some of the real fancy stuff we don't have, you can't get it. And it's probably not critical. But an awful lot of things are critical. Plants need all of it. They need all of it. We need to provide it all, not just whatever fertilizer the packing company decides to add to their dirt. And you can guarantee that dirt's not very rich to begin with, because they're trying to sell it cheap, and so they make it cheap. There ain't much to it. We make our soil and our supplement as rich as we possibly can make it. And we don't spare any expense doing it. That's why our product costs a little more, not as much as you're going to pay in a garden supply store. But it does cost a little more. Certainly not as much as you'll pay in a big box store or for most of the artificial substrates, which are really nothing more than clay that's been granulated and then compressed into balls and dried, to which a little bit of a few fertilizers have been added. It depletes pretty quickly and then it turns to mud. Our supplement doesn't do that. Doesn't do that. It retains its richness, and it combines with the sand that we use as a cap to create a substrate that is so rich and so filled with organic life that it thrives and continues to thrive and build the food web that is fundamental to the maintenance of life in an aquatic system. A food web. Same as in a non-aquatic system, a food web is absolutely critical. Do you know what that is? A food web is an environment in which everything in it is feeding on something else in it. Everything is feeding on something else in it. Whether that other thing needs to die or not, well, is determined by whether it's a predator or not, or whether it's a parasite or not. A predator is simply a parasite by a different name. That's really all it is. A predator is a parasite by a different name. A parasite is a predator by a different name. Life feeds on life. We don't eat dirt. We don't eat rocks. We eat living organisms, vegetables, animals, the product of them, milk, eggs. We eat living organisms. We don't eat inorganic substances. That's not what gives us nutrition. There are critters in the web that do that. The bacteria, which help to break down organic material and make it available, the inorganic material, make it available to organic material. Way out on the edges is where that happens. Way up on the edges. Bacteria does so much else as well. It breaks down the living organisms as well. Breaks them down in such a way that they can be consumed. So our aquarium is a living environment. Everything in it has life in it or on it. Every grain of sand has life living and growing on it. It's a living organism. When we try to achieve that, when we find a way to do that, and it's amazingly simple to do it because you don't have to do anything. That's the way nature works. That's what it is. That's what it does. All you need to do is put some of the basic pieces together and let it happen. It's natural. It's normal. It's the way things are. It doesn't take a special device, a special piece of equipment. Doesn't take anything remarkable or unique. Takes no human invention to bring about a food web. It takes some dirt, some water, some living organism, and you bring them together in a way that allows them to develop and to nurture and to be nurtured by the availability of nutrients that are put in there. Those nutrients come in the form of plants, of fish, of invertebrates, of other organic material, and yes, of food. Food. Well, what is food? It's the very thing I've been talking about. The food that you feed, that you buy, what is it? It's organic material. It's dead fish, dead shrimp, it's plants, it's organic material. It's not minerals. There may be some in it, but that's not what it is. It's organic. It's living, or what was living. Now, that food, what do you want to do? How do you want to provide that? Well, you want to provide it in a way that is as close to being alive as possible. And if it's alive, so much the better. So what? Microworm for babies, paramecium, brine shrimp for babies, algae. And then you get into things like algae wafers, like frozen foods, and then what? And then prepared food. Prepared. That's where you have to start being careful. A lot of prepared foods are, well, a lot of them are either chicken or beef or fish offal. OFFAL, you know what that word means? It means waste. It's the waste from the processing plant. You know, we have Tyson down the street here. They kill chickens by the millions. They kill chickens. They pull the feathers off, take the guts out, cut them up, and sell them. What happens to the feathers and the guts? What do you suppose? It's ground up, made into a paste, and it's sold. It's not put in a dump. It's sold. Who's it sold to? Well, it's sold to pet food companies. Cat food, dog food, even bird food, fish food. Fish food companies buy it. They like especially to buy fish offal from fish processing plants. They buy that, and what do they do with it? They emulsify it, grind it up, cook it, break it down, and then they either, well, they dry it, and they either turn it into flake or some kind of pellet. There's a problem with this process. And it's a problem we've been able to overcome. The problem is the problem of heat, because heat destroys the organic value of that food. It has a lot of value. It has tremendous value. It's food after all. It's what fish eat, other fish. But if it's cooked and then heat is used to dry it, it kills all the fat, all the fatty acids, kills all the organics. There's no life left in it. It's dead. Not just dead, it's dry. Not just dried, the food value, the oils, the fats, all of the food value is driven out of it. And you're left with little more than carbon, little more, a little more, but not a lot more. It's dry. It's virtually worthless. Its food value is about, oh, 1 to 2% for some of it, 5 to 10 at best. It's 90% waste. And then they use filler. They'll throw a bunch of grain in it, like cornmeal, to fill it, to make it, so they can sell it cheap, because cornmeal is pretty cheap, or soy meal. So you wind up getting something that it has virtually no food value, but we found a way to beat it. We work with a company, the name of which will forever remain a secret. It's one you can find it. It's out there. Work with a company that produces very small quantities of flake food that is not made into flake by heating and baking, but by cooling, by cool, dry air. It pulls the moisture out and leaves all the food value in it. You can tell by smelling it right away. It's a rich, rich odor. And the fish absolutely thrive on it. We've got a couple of different formulas. There are only maybe a dozen stores in this country that sell it. We call it Cool Flake. It's Aqua Preta Cool Flake. It's an amazing, amazing food. Right now we have it in two formulas. One is made from garlic and mysis shrimp. Garlic and mysis shrimp. The other is made from growth enhancers and color enhancers. So that's like carotene in it. That's various algae in it. And then it has proteins in it, fish proteins primarily. And it's made into a paste, not by cooking it, by moisturizing it and allowing it to dry with cool, dry air. It drives the moisture out, it absorbs the moisture, and it leaves all the food value. It has a bit of a shelf life, won't last forever. It's good for about 6 months in the container if you keep the lid on. We keep it in the fridge, it'll last forever in the fridge. Cool Flake. Amazing food, amazing food. It is live food in flake form. Amazing food. There are ways that we can help nature provide its miracles to the critters in their little fish tank by being careful, by being gentle, by doing things in a way that maintain the integrity. And that's what this food does. It maintains the integrity of what it is. It doesn't burn it up, doesn't dry it out to the point that it has no food value left. It keeps that food value in it, drives enough moisture up to be able to keep it. And then you provide it to your fish, and they thrive. They absolutely thrive. There are some other formulas where we'll bring it in. We're trying to get people excited about this. We've got it in our store. as is our supplement. Now, pretty soon, these items are going to be available in your local pet shop. We're putting together a program now to be able to provide them as wholesale items to local pet stores. That's where we're going. That's where we're headed. We're going to bring this revolution to every pet store in the country. And you'll see it. You'll be able to be part of it. You'll know what it is. You, the few, you, the remnant, you, the sacred remnant, you, the 29 people right now, 29, there it is, 30 who are watching us right now are the leaders of the revolution that is making it possible for the little 10-year-old boy or girl down the street who wants to keep fish to be able to do it in a way that is not going to disappoint them, but will thrill them, will give them joy, will fill their hearts and their minds with wonder, and will be a fulfillment of the very vision they have, what really ought to be occurring in that little fish tank. Happy fish, eating and swimming, breathing and having babies, plants growing and thriving, little microorganisms all over it. That's what it's all about. That's what we're here to provide. You know, there are a lot of people on YouTube. We're kind of getting away from YouTube in some ways, have been, because we kind of pretty much told our story. We know what we're doing. We told it in 1,000, actually 2,000. We have over 2,000 videos on YouTube. 2,000 videos. 340,000 nearly subscribers. And it just sort of, I don't know, it's like the rest of YouTube, it's sort of dwindling and sort of disappearing. I don't know what's happening on YouTube. It's very strange. But we're moving in other directions. We're in all of the other platforms now. We're building a Patreon that's going to really be something special. We're going to be having these kinds of talks on Patreon with small groups where you'll be able to be a part of the conversation. And we'll have special features. Like right now, Tommy over on Discord, one of the authors of the book, and really the guy who made it all happen, is building an aquarium. And he is doing it all out. He's been out collecting for days, weeks, even a couple of months now, videoing everything. Tommy's fish tank will be one of the features on Patreon. It'll be a paid feature. It'll cost you $2 a month to watch Tommy, the almost daily little video clips that he puts out, going into excruciating detail about how he collects wood and plants and water and dirt and food and fish and just all of it, how he puts it all together. It's an absolute miracle. We also will have a series based on our book, a series of lectures that'll go through the book, kind of a video lecture, chapter by chapter. It's going to take a while to get there. It may take a year to do it. It may even take longer. But every chapter will be on video. And that'll be on Patreon as well. And it'll be indexed so you'll be able to find exactly what you want. More, you'll be able to get a special 10% discount. That's available right now in our store by joining our Patreon. Oh, there will be plenty of free stuff there. If you can't afford $1 or $2, you can get plenty of things free. But for a little bit of support, a little bit of money, you'll be able to get a whole lot more. Well, then there's the Father Fish Show. Been around now for what, 5 or 6 years, a long time. Almost as long as Father Fish has been online. Been through some real changes there, but it has become a remarkable site. People come there with all kinds of issues, concerns, problems, and a group of experienced, trained people are there waiting to help, building friendships, providing support, looking for answers to problems and finding them. You can come there and you can take your time. It's all free, doesn't cost anything. You have a problem? We're going to help you find the solution to the problem. And sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it's kind of complicated. But we spend the time, the days, the weeks if needed, to find the answer to your problem. It's who we are. It's what we do. We're there to help, and we do. We help in every way we can. Well, I was asked to talk about guppies. A couple of people really enjoyed the video we did some years ago about breeding guppies. Well, we need to do a new one. We need to kind of update it. And I was asked to do that this evening to talk about line breeding guppies. Let me get a little bit into the chat here, and then I'm going to jump into that. We've still got time to do it. Let's see what else is here. Sapper Dad, what's up, Adam? The book will shift the world. It absolutely will. Thank you, Adam. And Christian's here. Fellow fin-loving friends from Fish Fan Link. Let's see, everybody saying hello. I ordered mine directly from the Father Fish website. Looking forward to it. You can order now from the website if you want a signed copy. It costs a little more, but it's kind of complicated getting these people to sign it because they're halfway around the world. They're spread all over the place. In Europe, the Netherlands, Great Britain, just all over the place. But we're doing it. We got it. We got this. We got this. We got this. And if you want a special note from Father Fish, just put it in the notes, and I'm happy to do that. Let's see. Can't wait to get mine, says Allison. The books came in today. For those of you who have bought books online in our store, we got them in today. So we're going to start shipping them. Brenda's been putting all the pages together for the signed copies. So we're going to start shipping them out right away. We're going to ship the unsigned copies first. That's about 50 of you that bought those. Those are going out and then by the end of the week probably. And then the others will be going out in the next week or so. Shouldn't take us longer than another week to get them out. So those of you who have bought the book through our store, you'll be getting it within the next 2 weeks. Let's see. Do we keep checking off and water changes inevitable when it eventually gets, or do we, what is this toad? What does toad say? Here we are. What are your thoughts on TDS with father fish heavily planted tanks? All the microorganisms, bacteria, microfauna, plants, fragrance, all this. Yes, they do. They do. Plants absorb solids, dissolved solids out of the water column directly, as well as all the other organisms. Now, food comes in a lot of different forms. And a lot of it's organic. It's not the solids that are the problem. It's the dissolved organics. Now, in solids, that we kind of differentiate between organics and minerals. Dissolved minerals are one thing. Dissolved organics are quite another. And it's really dissolved organics that are the issue. And that's what's absorbed by the plants. The minerals precipitate and they convert and so forth. But the biological activity that's going on in the water resolves that. I've never had a problem with mineralization becoming a significant issue in an aquarium. It can peak at about 400. I've had it get up to 400 with no ill effects at all on the fish, the TDS that is. I think it was at 450 in one of my systems in Florida. But that system was probably the healthiest system I had with the widest diversity of fish living in it. Had about 50 tanks on that system. And the TDS got up to like 450. Did not notice a problem. The plants thrived in it. The fish thrived in it. Had breeding going on in it. It was never an issue. It gradually came down, not a lot. It got down to about 300. But then, it'll be higher in some cases. That's what brackish water is. That's what hard water is. Hard water is dissolved solids in the water. It rarely is an issue for fish. Now, there are fish, to be sure, that are living in very soft acid water. Curiously, in matter of a few generations, those fish, like some of the licorice gouramis, for example, that are from Indonesia or the islands surrounding Indonesia, that have been brought into the hobby, wonderful fish, have now been bred in captivity over a period of enough generations that they're now living in hard alkaline water. They're no longer thriving in soft acid water. They've made the transition. Didn't happen to the first fish or the second or the third, but by the 10th or the 11th generation, they had adapted fully to this new environment. Fish are highly adaptable, highly adaptable. Maybe not an individual fish, but in generations they are. Discus are a perfect example of that. Time was you couldn't breed a discus unless it was in soft acid water. They're breeding them now in hard alkaline water and have for the last 15 to 20 years. Hard alkaline water. The eggs hatch, the babies thrive. I have baby waru. Really ought to show you those. Can't get my camera over to them. Baby waru. They're now about 3 days old. Same water as the discus. Soft acid water. These have now been bred in captivity. Well, I first time I ever saw them was in the late 1960s, 68, 69. Uh, Jeff Campbell in Putney, Vermont had them, and he was raising them. He had babies. Just took my heart away. It took me years to find them after that. Many, many years. But when I did, that was in Florida when I had the shop there. I had them in hard alkaline water. They spawned. I've had them spawn here now 5 or 6 times. We've had hatchings, 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth time we've had a hatching. We have some that are almost mature. They're now up to silver dollar size, pretty good size. Almost mature. They get big. They get 8 inches. It's a fish that, like the discus, it's kind of compressed and large, stunning fish. Not the colors that the discus have, but beautiful in their own right. The only real issue with them is they're a plant eater like you wouldn't believe. But I tell you what, they don't eat. They don't eat floating plants. Isn't that odd? I grew Riccia with my Wairau. Big, thick beds of Riccia floating on the surface. They eat every other plant I put in there, but they don't eat the Riccia. Strange, isn't it? There are other plants like that. Plants like the Eponygitans, the bulb plants. Rarely are they eaten. I don't think they're toxic. I think they're just distasteful. But they have a remarkable life cycle as well. Let me get back into here a little bit. We did, let's see, we did toad sage. And I want to move on a bit till we get to the bottom. One yield is megaprone. Angry Pollock says, how's the book coming? Well, we got it. We got it. Right there, we got it. You can buy it at Amazon. You can buy it in Barnes and Noble. We've got it signed copies. If you want to buy a signed copy signed by every single one of the authors plus Father Fish, you can buy that in our store. It's available right now. I ordered one on Amazon 3 days ago. I got it 2 days later. So, in fact, this might be the one that I remember. We just got 100 copies in today that we bought from the publisher that we could get out to you guys. And we've got signed copies. If you want to get a signed copy, you can buy that. Okay. Okay, good. We're at the, no, we're not. Oh dear. Let's see. Trumpet snails to your tank on purpose. Absolutely. Trumpet snails are like earthworms. They are astounding. They do an amazing job in the substrate. Trumpet snails are the Malaysian trumpet snails. Absolutely wonderful. It's a great snail to have in your tank. How many generations of guppy breeders keep breeding when line breeding? All right, we're going to do this. Julia. Julia was the one hitting me for this. Question. Father Fish, how many generations do guppy breeders keep breeding when line breeding? How do they keep breeding for a trait when they have to introduce a new strain? 5 to 6. 5 to 6 generations before it becomes necessary to add new strain. And the reason for this is that weaknesses in the genetic structure tend to pop up when inbreeding beyond a given point. That point seems to be 5 to 6, and that's conservative. You can go longer. You can go 10 to 15, but at that point, you're going to start getting a whole lot more problems with the strain. Now, here's the issue. When you bring a foreign fish in that's not part of that strain, it's got characteristics that are unique from what you're developing. So you've thrown yourself back, but you're not throwing yourself back to the beginning. You're throwing yourself back 2 or 3 generations. because you can pick that strain right back up pretty quickly. Once you introduce this new one, it gets you, you're kind of already halfway there to where you were. It sets you back a few steps, but by inbreeding then that new strain offspring, you can bring it right back up in a matter of another 2 to 3 generations. That's about a year. The average guppy breeder breeds a generation in about 4 months. Some do it in 3 months. That's pushing pretty hard. You can do it by feeding very, very heavily. On average, it's 4 months. Some breeders take their time and do it in 6 months. They get 2 spawns a year. Most serious guppy breeders are getting 3 generations in a year. So in a year and a half, a year to 2/3, within 2 years, they're introducing a new strain coming in from the outside. It may be similar to what they're doing. They're going to look carefully, and they're going to be careful about what they're bringing in. And it's good. They're going to want it to have traits that they want introduced into that strain. It may take it in a different direction, but it'll be within the constraints, if you will, of the strain, the constraints of the strain that they're developing and designing. What's critical about doing line breeding is maintaining records, written records, and maintaining each of the strains in different tanks, each of the generations, that is, in different tanks. Now, you don't need to keep the males separate, but it's a really good idea, at least for a generation, to make sure you're maintaining that same genetic line, because there are a lot of things going on in the gene structure that don't really show up by looking at the fish. They're kind of hidden little secrets that the fish is carrying in its genes that'll pop up 1, 2, 3 generations later. So you want to maintain, you want to know what fish you got where. What this means is, if you're going to breed guppies, you don't need big tanks. Small tanks will do. 10-gallon tanks are absolutely perfect. A 5-gallon you could work with. It's a little small. I know guppy breeders that have done it in 5s. Frankly, they're more expensive than 10s. 10s are a little easier to work with, and you get better growth with the 10. 10-gallon tanks. How many? Start with 10. Get your pair of fish, spawn them, put the babies in all by themselves in a new tank. Now, watch them day by day. Within 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to see the male's anal fin begin to thicken. It's becoming a gundapodium. It's beginning to thicken. When it does, you take it out and you put it in tank number 3. And then the next male you take out and put it in tank number 3 until you have all of the tanks, all of the males in there before they're able to breed. Absolutely critical to take them out before they're able to breed, then grow them out. Then you take the females, some of them, not all of them, a few of them, and put them in with the male. Put them back in with the male. By this time, you can move the female to her own tank or leave her where she is. It's not going to really matter. Put some of the daughters back in with the father. Ooh, the ethics of all this are encourageable. But fish is fish. They don't live by the same laws. It's okay not to worry. God gives you dispensation for these things. It's not an issue. Fish are not people, after all. Breed the father to the daughter. Now, you can breed the son to the mother, but the mother is going to have she's holding sperm. Very often they can hold sperm for 2 or 3 spawns. It's especially true with mollies and platies. Less so with guppies, but it's true with guppies as well. So you don't really want to breed the sons and the mother. You want to breed the fathers and the daughter. Now, in another container, take out the best young male, put him in a fourth tank, and then put a couple of the females in with him. So you can breed that generation as well. Then when that female is heavy, you take her out, put her in a fifth and a sixth tank. And when the babies are born, you go through the same process of separating out the males. And at that point, you can put all the males together. I don't recommend it until you hit 10 to 15 tanks. At that point, you're kind of maxed out on an average system. You want to get fish in as many of those tanks as possible, as soon as possible. Get the 10 to 15 tanks with fish in them, but do it genetically, do it appropriately. Don't just mix them up. Do it by generation. Mark the tank so you know what's in it. Develop a code. The codes are available. I'm not going to go over that now. If you look at guppy fish breeding, you'll find code books you can use. They're not secret. Use the code books in order to determine what generation you have and where they've come from. And then keep it in a ledger. You want a ledger. You want to be able to maintain that ledger so you have a written record of what you've got. And then you want that duplicated in the tanks. Once you get to that point and you reach the next level, then it's time to start selling off what you're not going to keep. You sell off all of the males and all of the females that you don't want to keep. So you're at that point, you've got maybe 300 to 400 fish. Sell off 250 to 275 of them. Pull out the ones you want, put them aside, invite all your friends in to come and buy out the fish in the tanks, sell them all out. You've got your other fish set aside in jars, separately marked so you know what they are. Once all these fish are cleared out, then the ones that you've saved, you can put back into the 4 or 5 tanks you're going to need to take the next step. You're now in the 3rd to 4th generation. So you've read about it a year at that point. You're going to do 2 to 3 generations. Then you're going to go through that process again, and this time you're going to introduce new fish. So that's basically, in a nutshell, the process. Complicated? You betcha it's complicated. Record keeping is absolutely critical, but you can do it. You can do it with 10 to 15 10-gallon tanks. That's right there. That's 6, 12, 13, 14, that's including 20 gallons, that's 16 tanks right there. That's what it takes right there to breed guppies, to get strains, to do stuff that'll knock your socks off. Right there. That's all it takes. Not hard to do. I recommend when you do that you do it in natural systems. It's going to guarantee the growth of the fish and the health of the fish. There, Julia, are you happy? There. I've done it. And we're at 8 o'clock. We've pushed it over a little bit. Got a new song I want to play for you. It's we don't have any video with it, and you may have heard it last week. It's real sweet. Let me get it up here. Here we go. Maybe I'll even sing.
I love my little fishy as they swim about their own. When the sunlight shines upon them and their colors begin to glow bright and draw me to the world where my heart wants to go. I imagine scenes of beauty and feel the warmth of love. I love my little fishy fishy as they swim about their own. Their fins are flashing, scales are gleaming, silent stories gently streaming in their water world so serene. A peaceful heaven, a tranquil scene. I imagine scenes of beauty and feel the warmth of love. I love my little fishy as they swim about their own. Bubbles rising slow, a gentle current to and from. My heart finds solace in their grace, a smile upon my weary face. I imagine scenes of beauty and feel the warmth of love. I love my little fishy as they swim about their own. Swim on, my little fishy, swim on, your beauty bright until the dawn.
Good night, all. God bless you. Love you all. Bye for now.